Good morning, Midland, Texas. This is Buddy Webb here. I'll tell you a little story here. This morning I was doing a Facebook post that's called Find the Wall, You Find the Tunnel. It comes from I started off a conversation that I was asked, have you tried to find the tunnels? You know, and that's a common question, you know, that I've explained many times over on Facebook and YouTube. And then I even posted an older video called Finding the Tunnel, all that. Well, while I was doing that, my scanner's going all the time, and I overheard a call come in, and it was a Hangup 911 call at a church, and so I went and paused my scanner so I can record it, and I'm gonna let you listen to that here in a minute. And but what it reminded me of was the Simpson, the alleged Simpson murder-suicide in December 2014. And that's where secret police Chad Simpson was alleged to murder his wife, Sandra Simpson, and killed himself. And the story that was in the news is that there was a Hangup 911 call, okay? And so the police went to investigate. When they got over there, they found that he was dead, and that she you know, she was almost dead, and she died a few days later. And so not everybody calls 911, so not everybody probably knows that if you wanted the police to your house, all you have to do, you don't have to talk to the police. You call 911, hang up, they're going to show up, because it's called a hang. You know, that's protocol. If they have a hang up 911 call, then they show up at the residence, and they get dispatched there. And obviously, whoever made that call, which, you know, it was believed to be Chad that made the call before he killed himself. That's suspected anyway, and that somebody knew about that. You know, they knew that the police would show up, and of course there was kids in the house, the two kids. Well, there's a lot of people that Chad was from my hometown. Chad and Sandra were. I knew people in his family, you know, and there's many people just couldn't even believe that, you know, that story. You know, he was a good guy supposedly. You know, he was a veteran, and you know, and I heard they had problems having babies, and they were just super excited about having them two babies. And then here's this murder suicide, leaves them babies as orphans, you know. But I was talking to his aunt, which I've known all my life, Patty Tremblay, and I talked to her several times. And Patty told me that the Texas Rangers told the family that you know, Chad had left his camera on in his police car, and they knew nobody else had gone inside the home. So I mean, it had to be a murder suicide, because, you know, there was nobody else there, you know. But so that just don't add up. But then we take in the fact that homes all over Midland, Odessa, including my own, have reported people in the attic believed to coming through a wall, down a wall, modified through a tunnel. Well, what if Chad's home over there at that address was rigged like mine? And so, anyways, I'm gonna show you this video. This is the call this morning.
Right to the 911 hang up, 3001 Golf Course Road. It's going to be the Grace Lutheran Church. The hang up, busy on ring back.
Okay, and kind of unusual that at 6 o'clock in the morning that there's a 911 hang-up call at a church, you know, and that's one reason I recorded that. But that's what made me think about the Simpson murder-suicide and the hang-up 911 call there. And so I'm going to show you the stuff on the computer. All right, and this is my Facebook from this morning, what I was telling you about, that I just posted an older video called, and here I named this Find the Wall and You Find the Tunnel, with this older video there that is called Finding the Tunnel. And basically I'm explaining that we know for a fact that people are getting in the attic. That's not a what if, could be. You know, I've got 100 videos, burglar alarms going off. I saw a person in my attic. I was shot with burglar alarms going in my attic. Homeowners all over the place are documented reporting people in the attic. That's a fact, okay? Well, I know they're not getting in the doors, the attic doors, because I've got them secured, bolted shut, you know. had the roof inspected a couple times, make sure they're not coming in a trapdoor in the roof. So the only other way that they come in is from a modified wall, and most walls don't have enough space, you know, and so they're literally coming up a wall, and you know, and so here in this Facebook post, you know, I was telling, you know, a few stories where like here, you know, and it was this supposed friend, you know, that called me before I was even shot, and tells me, oh, so-and-so said that you were saying people were in your walls. And I said, I was offended. I was like, I didn't say that, you know. And she said, I believe you believe, buddy, you know. And so, you know, let a smart comment, you know, and you know, and that was part of the life-destroying lies that were already going on, the slander and all that to cover up, you know, breaking into home, stealing and killing. And so, but anyways, now I look back and I go, she knew all along they were in my walls. You know, she probably thought that was funny, you know, as funny as it was when I was crawling out on my hands and knees crippled for life, you know. Oh, that was funny, wasn't it? You know, and then here's another person I've known all my life. She's like my mom's best friend's daughter, Leah Britt, you know, and one time she writes on my Facebook, you know, real hateful, you know, bust the walls out already, you know, and then another one, you know, was real in caps, move, and you know, and I've long time blocked her, you know, but it was real clue, bust the walls out. I feel 100% sure Leah Britt knew what was going on at this house, and I suspect it's probably been in the underground facility below it, you know. There was a Vivint dispatched the police to my home. I paid over $1,000 to install a Vivint alarm system in my attic, and you know, and it goes in alarm and dispatches the police to my house. And this this was the second time the police were dispatched here, December 19th, 2012, and that was almost a year after I was ambushed and shot. And two officers shows up, Steve Bracken and Chad Simpson, alleged murderer, Chad Simpson, secret police, etc. And that's a lot about what this video is about. But Bracken writes on the report, he thinks people are in the walls, you know. And you know, and I'm looking back at that, you know, and it's like, they knew that all the time, you know, and they must have thought that was funny, right? That, you know, they're destroying my life with lies, and I'm the victim of a premeditated, capital-intended murder. You know, I'm home, my own business. Somebody comes to my home, tries to kill me, you know, shoots me by surprise. And so I've got the police report showing that, you know. And so, you know, that's basically find the wall, you find the tunnel. But more than that, there's homes all over the place where people have rigged, you know, and I believe it's the same thing as this house. They went modified. They got one wall where there's a crawl space, there's a tunnel underneath, and they can come in and out of the home without being seen. Okay, and so then, you know, and then they're stealing electricity, heating, cooling, etc. You know, they have access to your whole life, your computers, everything, you know, and like I was told here, there's micro cameras installed, so that I'm sure they've got videos of the little kids dressing, taking baths, and all that. I mean, it only makes sense. That's what they were doing, you know, and they probably tell me how many sheets of toilet paper I've used, you know. I mean, literally, you know, and obviously we got the problem with the police corruption and the press that's been assisting by not telling the public, not even showing them the evidence, you know, not even warning me, you know, unsuspecting homeowners that these crimes are going on all over the place. These crimes are going on, you know. And so, you know, I'm going to give you just an idea. These are homeowners. Here, look at all them addresses in Midland, Odessa. Them are homeowners that I've documented, and that's only some of them that have reported somebody in the attic. And like I said, each of them homes, I believe, is probably rigged like my home, underground access, a modified wall. They're getting up in the attic, and then that allows them to steal. And then if you try to stop them, then you're killed, and then the secret police come in and cover it up, because that's what's happening, you know. And earlier this year, I contacted the City of Midland records request. I put in a request, and I said, give me a list of all 911 calls where somebody reported somebody in the attic. And City Attorney Gates, Assistant City Attorney Gates, and says we only have one record, and it wasn't a 911 call record. And he says the police department says there is none. Nobody's ever called and reported something that in the last 10 years. And I've got the police report when I called. I've got a half dozen scanner calls, and I'm going to show you that here. Recorded right from my scanner, just like that. Here. Okay, and so that's only one of them, but, you know, you can bet if the police are dispatched, they have a record, right? But when you request a record, they say, oh, there's nobody ever called that. Buddy's crazy, you know, and no, Buddy's not crazy, you know. We got a crime ring involved in rigging homes and breaking in, stealing, and killing homeowners and corrupt police and the press that are involved in covering it up. You know, it's widespread racketeering, okay? But let's get back to the 911 call and the Simpson murder-suicide. Okay, now remember, Chad Simpson, okay, was caught inside my home on camera. The problem is, I didn't know it was him. He was a Midland K-9 police officer. Okay, and I didn't even know Chad Simpson existed until he goes and murders his wife, and I'm told that he's a K-9 police officer, and then I'll go, oh, I wonder if he was in my house, right? You know, because, I mean, the secret police were secret for 6 years with a reward offered, you know? I mean, you know, nobody would name them, you know, and they were hiding the police report and all that. Well, now we know, because of the private investigator, that is Chad, okay? And keep in mind, his name is not on the police report, though, okay? Because the police report was falsified, okay? And then so we have the murder-suicide here, and I'm going to get to that, okay? This is from the city of Midland, officer involved in fatal shooting, and you can Google Midland murder-suicide Simpson, and you can find this story, okay? And at approximately 5:40 p.m. on December 15th, responded to a silent 911 call, okay? So whoever made that call, whether it's Chad or not, you know, knew that the police would show up and take care of the babies, okay? And so, and then, of course, murdered his wife, Sandra Simpson, okay? And here's another one taken, and you know, and that's the house there, and it tells me it was on Crenshaw, okay? So all of a sudden, then, you know, I know what the house looks like, and I know it's on Crenshaw, you know? And well, so I can just go to the Midland Central Appraisal District, midcad.org, do a property search for Crenshaw, right? And come in here, and I go, you know, a little bit looking, and I go to the deed history, and there's Chad Simpson. Okay, and so, and the widow, okay, or there isn't a widow, because, you know, Chad and Sandra Simpson are dead. But anyway, and it was sold in August 2015. I guess probate and all that was done, you know, because of the murder-suicide. And there's the current owner. And so, then, as I said earlier, okay, that's when I got to wondering, what if Chad Simpson's home was rigged like my home? Then nobody would be seen coming in camera. And just like at my home, nobody would suspect somebody under your home murdered you, right? Does that make sense? And also it makes sense, what if Chad, good guy Chad, was going to turn state evidence against the other secret police that were involved in a capital attempted murder? It would expose the underground facilities, the 4 3-bedroom, $1 million underground homes, the oil show parties, the murder of the little girl at the 2010 oil show, the murder of the last homeowner, right? I'm sure them secret police don't want anybody telling them that they were here. Right now, they were hiding the police report, and nobody knew who they were, even though they're caught on camera. Well, what if Chad was going to turn state evidence? What if he's going to snitch, you know, or do the right thing? You know, that's more, you know, more to how to do it. Well, that would be motive, right, for him to be killed. And nobody would suspect somebody under his home coming in to kill him, you know. Can we all agree to that? Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple other things here. Okay, this is a message from Chad's aunt. I told you about his aunt, Patty Tremley, that I knew. This is another aunt. She's a cousin to Patty, and she was super hateful, and her name was Annette Mobley, okay? And she says, no, I know he murdered his wife and left his precious baby orphans, you know? And you can see, you know, you can effing rent uniforms. So she was saying the police were not police at that time. Remember, they were still secret. You need to be sued for slander. So, you know, here's the threat, right? And, you know, and I'm like, sue CBS 7 and the chief of police, you know? And then I'm like, you can help clear Chad's name and help me at the same time just by contacting MPD and demanding that they identify the people in the pictures, okay? The secret police. Because I was saying Chad Simpson was one of the secret police, and she was threatening to sue me for asking that question. question, and saying that they rented the uniforms and they were serial killers and all that, Well, she might be right about the serial killers, but now we know they are Midland police, or they're actually police from state, local, and even out of state, but they're police, law enforcement. And Annette then says, call Nancy Grace, I'm not going to help you. Just imagine how rude this person is. I really sincerely believe that Annette Mobley knows something about the crimes at this house. And that's why she didn't want the secret police identified, because she knew it would show that Chad was in my house. Now, also, here's Chad's obituary right here, okay, December 15th. And it shows he's a K-9 police officer, okay? And there's Sandra, the young mother, nurse, right, 33 years old, 2 babies, okay, that he supposedly murdered. And then 2 months earlier, there's a second secret police that died. He was the second one that showed up at my house, and his name is also not on the police report. The same logic goes, what if Mike Naylor, who married a woman from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico, they're both from Hobbs, too, and my hometown, and, what if this Naylor didn't go down exactly? Would there be motive to kill Naylor if he was going to testify against the other secret police? And I think the answer is yes, okay? I'm going to show you here some more of the posts I've done. This is a news article. I think that's a News West 9 here. And that's where I got this picture. And there they are holding their babies, okay? And the little orphan baby. Now they're in Marie and, I want to say Cadence. I don't know if Cadence is right, but anyway, the 2 babies, okay. And my private investigator found a witness that says that'll testify that Chad told him that he was inside my home, okay. And so, keep in mind that Chad's name is not on the police report. They hid that, okay. And let's see what else I got here, okay. Well, okay, if it was, somebody under his home coming in and they murdered Chad and Sandra, and because Chad was going to, expose the underground facilities and the crimes here, the multiple murders associated with the crimes here at my home and the many other homes here in Midland, Odessa that are rigged, for stealing and killing, I'm sure a lot of money, then, I'm looking at the deed history. I already showed you how to look that up, and here's Chad Simpson's home, okay, and if we later come in and find out, oh, there's a tunnel in that home, then you can be sure that's what happened, okay, sure, and what makes sense is that it come from one of the neighbors. That's also believed the same thing at my house and probably the other homes, is that you start looking at the neighbors. Well, who lived, next door? Did they put a tunnel in from this home to that home? I mean, that's the shortest distance. It makes the most sense. So we find this guy lived at 401 Crenshaw, okay, Ted Stanford, and then I Google him and find out, did he work for an oil company, and then here's this one here, Roger Willis Brown, did they work for any major oil company? Were there any, a large group of mutual friends with me, and makes me suspect they might be involved in this crime ring, and maybe they have motive to kill, to silence Chad Simpson, and then this is the one directly behind the house at 402 Player Street, Lawanda Green. So I did that history. Y'all can go look that up yourself. Anyways, I just thought 911 hang up calls and Chad Simpson. This is Buddy Webb. Talk to you later.